Welcome back. You're watching Straight Talk. Professor Golub, we had this case of President Reagan, labeling Russia as the evil empire. Do you expect somebody like Donald Trump to kind of repeat those kind of things? Could he, not Russia, I'm not talking of Russia, but perhaps pick on other enemies, because the word evil is a huge, it's a very medieval kind of thing, And would he identify, whom in your opinion would he identify as evil if he does go ahead and do that kind of thing?
Donald Trump has said many controversial things during the campaign, and as a candidate and now as president, has he used the word evil per se? I don't know, but one of his more controversial and very unfortunate statements during the campaign, out of many he made, was he accused Mexico of exporting some of its worst people, of being rapists and other despicable types to the U.S., when in fact Mexicans who come into the U.S., like almost all immigrants who come into the U.S., sometimes legally, sometimes not documented, as we say, are very hardworking, very decent people, not committing crimes. And to call someone, a class of people, racists is in some ways equivalent to calling them evil. I don't think Donald Trump necessarily has evil in his heart when he says these things, but if he gains political capital from them, he may say that. He has said some nasty things about women, about Muslims, often things that are absolutely untrue. So the word evil per se, I don't know. But nasty statements that impugn people's integrity or honesty has been part of his pattern.
So this anti-immigrant, anti-Mexico kind of attitude, rhetoric, resonate with a section of the American public?
A section of the American public, but I want to emphasize just a section. There are people who have legitimate concerns, legitimate fears about their jobs being taken away by immigrants or being exported to China or other parts of the world. You may yet hear fears about jobs being in effect exported to India. Whether those fears are grounded or not is another matter. But many people Trump has appealed to many people's concerns and fears that are very, very well grounded in terms of a sense of inequality in the U.S., in terms of being ignored by elites on the part of both the Republican and Democratic Party. Some of the appeal of Trump then, and some of the sectors of the population he has appealed to, have been just old-fashioned, very, very negative attitudes towards immigrants and foreigners that have no basis or no justification in reality. But some of them is diverting, some of what he has appealed to has been diverting legitimate concerns that people have about losing jobs, about stagnation, about income inequality, and manipulating it in some ways that are not so legitimate.
So for all these reasons, is American society, is America turning more inward, more protectionist, more concerned about their own problems?
It certainly is an issue for many Americans, in some respects a legitimate issue that they have, a legitimate concern, in some respects just grounded in resentment of foreigners, grounded in resentment completely unjustified of immigrants. But I don't know if I'd say American society as a whole is turning inward. Remember, Hillary Clinton won the election by 3 million votes in terms of the popular vote. But in terms of the peculiarities of the way our system works, which has all sorts of historical legacies, Trump was legitimately elected given the state-by-state way in which our electoral votes or our presidential elections are decided. But Hillary won 3 million more votes. If it had been 100,000 either way in a few key states, we'd be talking about the first woman president, how significant that is for the country, for the evolution of the U.S. and the world in some very positive ways. So I don't think on a balance, the United States is turning more inward. Just some segments of it are, because of legitimate fears about trade and immigration, and often not legitimate fears that have been manipulated by certain forces, including, unfortunately, our new president.
Do you feel Hillary losing the election, did America lose something far bigger?
It pains me as an American to think that part of the reason Hillary lost was that we, as a nation of immigrants, that some of us turned against immigrants. all of us in America, if you go back far enough, came from somewhere else, be it ourselves personally or our parents or grandparents or great parents. America is about being open to the world, interacting with the world for all of its flaws and for all the things it's done wrong in the world as well. Don't get me wrong. So yes, the fact that she lost is very unfortunate in that part of, regarding that part of our national character and what it says we'll be doing for the next 4 years, what the policies may be. But I don't view this as a permanent setback by any means. I view it as the way our particular electoral system played out, so that someone lost the election by 3 million votes, but won it in terms of the rules of the game and is legally the President of the United States now. To get back to the point about the U.S. being open to the world and engaged with the world, every year more and more people in the U.S. are coming from a more diverse group of ethnic backgrounds by virtue of immigration that still goes on and by virtue of birth, who their ancestors are. And that trend is going to go on with or without Donald Trump. And in terms of our engagement with, openness with, interaction with, reflection of the world at large, that's a trend that I think and I hope will transcend Donald Trump.
On that note, Professor Golub, thank you for taking part in Straight Talk.
Thank you. It's really been a pleasure. I appreciate this.